Hey guys, welcome back to our neck of the woods. So we're still in limbo that we can't really do anything, not a lot of stuff. We're still waiting on the foam. I need more stone, PEX tubing and everything for the garage and the basement slab. So we need to find something else to do. So today we're gonna go ahead and talk about how we're gonna build the garage using traditional framing in America. We're gonna go ahead and install a sill plate. We're gonna go ahead and talk about the foam. And we're going to talk about how we're going to super seal this garage.
This is Sparta!
So most houses in America, whether they're built on a slab or they're building up on a basement wall foundation, we have to have a way to attach the wall system to concrete. So if you remember when we poured the other day, we went ahead and installed all these J-bolts. So the reason why we did this is because we have a sill plate or a bottom plate here that we're going to go ahead and attach onto the wall, and we're going to bolt it down. That way when we go ahead and build our wall up here, we have something to actually nail and screw down into instead of nailing and screwing down constantly into concrete. Now the problem with this is we have to seal this some way. We've got wood on concrete, and if you notice, we didn't do the best job at smoothing this out. So we've got some big holes here. We've got some divots and drop in elevation where we put the J-bolts. This isn't too bad, but around elsewhere, there's a little bit of cracks forming. So we have to basically get this sealed so that bugs aren't trying to come in under. Weather's not trying to come in under. We don't want air movement through here because whether you're building a normal house or a garage, this is going to be heated and cooled. So we have to do our best to seal this. So we're going to use a 3-part system here to basically triple seal this so that we never have to worry about this garage losing heat or getting any bugs. So the first thing that we do, which pretty much every house in America does, is put down some form of a sill seal. It's basically just foam. You attach it to your sill plate or your bottom plate, you turn it upside down, and you bolt it on down. Now again, because we have all these cracks and these bigger holes in here, this is not going to be 100% the best thing in the world. So I went ahead and found this, and there's many different types of things that you can use, but this sort of caulking called foam board is actually not going to harm this foam at all, or the ICF foam. I know Fox Block is pretty resilient. I've seen some other tests where the owner or one of the people that run Fox Block has some videos on YouTube, and they use many different types of adhesive and caulking on their Fox Blocks, and it didn't hurt it at all. This stuff is a little bit more flimsy and fragile, so I think other type of caulkings will harm it with certain types of chemicals in there that can break it down. So this is at least approved for foam, so it should work out nicely. So the plan is that we're going to put this down first all over this concrete, and it is concrete approved, and it's also interior and exterior approved, so it should work fine. We're also going to put a bead of it in between the foam and the wood itself. So we'll have a bead on top and below the sill seal foam that's going down. Now to triple do this system, once we have the sill plate bolted down from right here to right here where that board is going to sit, in this gap right here, I did buy another 5-gallon bucket of the Rubber Wall Aqua Mastic. So we're going to go on down here and spatula this entire seam here, so that way again no air can get through, no bugs can get through, and it's 100% waterproof. Now if I didn't mention this before, ICF is not 100% waterproof. Obviously we only put the rubber wall here that's going to go below grade, but we're not done. Above grade we have to worry about too, for a couple reasons. One, it is an open cell foam, so if we were to try and put our siding directly on this and the siding were to ever get a leak or anything like that, you have to worry about water getting onto that open cell foam. The problem with that is water can absorb in there. It can start to break it down over time, and we don't want that. So we need to figure out what we need to do above grade also on the ICF foam. Now, the other problem that we've noticed is there are some more cracks and separation within the blocks. In fact, if you look in here pretty well, so you can see right where those joints come together, where the blocks are supposed to hold together, you see a little bit of separation, and when you look in there, you can see all the way down and you can see concrete. Now, that is a problem because not only do we have to worry about water, we also have to worry about bugs. Foam is not 100% bug resistant. There are some bugs that can still work their way up behind the siding and can actually want to bury and eat and get through this. They're not obviously eating the foam, they're just looking for a home and a place to nest. Where that becomes a problem is around all of your windows and doors. If the bugs get through these cracks and work their way this way through the foam where the concrete is, they can end up finding wood and they're going to want to eat it. So we need to protect all of this foam from that. Now there's a few different ways that we can do this. The first way that we can at least help with waterproofing it is we could simply put up a house wrap, no different than any other house in America. You put that up, if water gets behind your siding, usually it'll hit the house wrap and it'll run on down and drain out. But that's not really going to help us with bugs, and we do not want the bugs getting behind even the house wrap and start getting into the foam. So that brings us to product number 2 potentially. Some sort of peel and stick membrane. Now, I've mentioned this before, peel and stick membranes are not cheap, they're not easy to work with, and depending on what company you buy from, some of them want you to use their adhesive promoter, and that more than doubles the price of it. So what I've decided to do is to continue with the rub-bar wall all the way up to the basement and all the way up to the first floor, completing the entire house in basically a rubber coating. Not only will that give us 100% waterproofing, but bugs aren't going to want to eat through that rubber. Not to mention, I don't think they could anyway if they tried. Also, putting that rubber wall on here is going to help protect these plates. I mentioned in the video before, in our mistake video, that these plates are not outside approved. So to give them a little bit more protection, even though they're going to have a massive overhang porch where water pretty much is never going to be driven and to get in there, we still have to worry about moisture in the air. So if we go ahead and put a thick coat of rubber wall coating over these plates, then these plates are going to last even longer. So again, we've got to do everything that we can, whether weather gets to it, whether bugs get to it or not, we still need to go ahead and protect this foam for the life of this property. So we need to attach something to it, and again, we're gonna go ahead and go with the rubber wall. Now, I ordered 11 5-gallon buckets when I decided to do the basement and when I decided to do the garage. I actually have 2.5 buckets left over, so 12.5 gallons. Now the beauty is we don't have to do the inside basement wall here because that's obviously going to be inside under a roof. There's nothing that's going to happen to that foam. So we really only need to worry about 3 walls now. That 12.5 gallons can probably get the whole front of this done, the back side and that side over there coming in. So once I go ahead and use all of that up and then we build the first floor up, I'll go ahead and decide how many more gallons or how many more buckets I need. Application again is super easy with that industrial sprayer, so it'll be super easy to do it. And then again, this house and this foam should be waterproof for life, bug proof for life, and there's nothing that we should worry about. I'm going to start on the wall here where the garage doors are going to go. I only need basically a 4-footer, a 2-footer, and a 4-footer. So we'll see how easy this stuff is to lay down. We're going to show you how I'm going to mark it too, because it's not obviously 100% easy to lay a board on here that's 3 to 4 inches off the ground. You don't want to drill your holes in your sill plate and then have the board be like off center where you've got like a huge gap over here and the board sticking out, you know, off the wall here. So I'm going to show you how to do that real quick, how to mark it, how to drill it, and then we're going to go ahead and install it and put in all of the sill seal and all of the caulking. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do here is take some 2x4s. We're going to screw it into the wall here on the outside so that this basically makes this completely flush here. So that way when we go ahead and cut the 2x12 down for the sill plate to bolt down to here, the edge of it will come up right up to this 2x4. We're going to hit it with a hammer where these bolt heads are. That's going to make a mark on the bottom of the sill plate. We'll then know exactly where to drill so that this thing fits perfectly and it sits perfectly to the outside of the wall. All right, so we got this sill plate exactly where we want it to go. As you can see, that board there is keeping it completely flush with the outside, and these two boards are keeping it completely flush with the outside on here. And obviously, like I said, the board is now resting on those bolts. Some of them may not be touching 100%, but we're going to go ahead and hit it with a hammer. It's going to leave a mark on the bottom of this. This one we're going to have to hit a little bit more or angle it down, but now we know exactly where we need to drill once we turn this board over. And there we go. We got some beautiful dimple holes that now, no matter where we go, even though these bolts aren't 100% aligned with each other, you know, they're going down here kind of like this. One may be angled this way, it doesn't matter. We know exactly now where we need to drill. So I'm not exactly sure which one of these is going to work best. I know they both will work fine, but we're going to go ahead and test this out with the hammer drill and see which one drills an easier hole. Honestly, that seems super easy for both of them. I don't think in this case it really matters which one's better. Right, so the other thing I want to do, I got the leaf blower out. We want to make this as clean as possible since we're using an adhesive. So we're going to blow this off and make sure it's completely clean and clear of any debris, any wood chips or anything else like that. So first test fit didn't go too bad. All these are lined up and fine, but this one here, unfortunately, is a little bit too close. As you can see, it is on the inside edge of here, so we had to mark one more, and I was wondering why it wasn't going down. So, good thing that when I was at Menards today, I went and bought some Tapcon screws, because where I've got these boards that are going to be running down here where they come together, one board is going to end basically really close to that one. But then you got a really big gap over to this bolt over here. So we got, again, some Tapcon screws that at the end of this board, as it comes on down here and ends, say like right there, I'll put a Tapcon screw down in there so that way it's bolted really close to the end and you don't have this big gap right here where the board could potentially lift up. So same thing's gonna have to happen down here. The last bolt right here and this bolt here is obviously going to be now being used for this plate over here, so we'll go ahead and put a Tapcon somewhere right in there so the end of this board is also secured and bolted down. Alright, so it looks like we do have it beautifully flushed up everywhere, and now you can see why you need some sort of sealant. You can see right through there where all of your air can leak through and every bug in the world can climb through if they wanted to. So we're going to go ahead and get this seal on. We're going to go ahead and put the caulking down, and then we'll go ahead and get this plate bolted up, and then this first one, it'll be done. Now, I am not going to be shy with this stuff at all. I'm going to put some super thick beads down here so that way any of these cracks and crevices get filled in with the caulking, and then we don't have to worry about anything. Now the big as this stuff comes is 7.5 inches. So I am gonna put 7.5 inches over here and some on the inside, so there will be an overlap. That's only gonna help take up any gaps in here, so it's not gonna hurt anything, but I did buy enough to go ahead and do that twice on each board. All right, we know we should be good now because as we can see, some of the caulking has spilled out along the side and along the front, and it's got all over me. So we know that this is now completely bolted down. You cannot see light or air through there anymore. And again, even if you did, we are going to go ahead and bring the rubber wall all the way up, clear these gaps right now, kind of where you can just get your finger in from there to there with the rubber wall mastic. So now this will be completely 100% smooth, and then this should finish this out for, again, a great waterproofing and airtight seal of whether you're doing just your house or if you're doing a heated and cooled garage. All right, now we just need to rinse and repeat 6 more times and this project can be done. So this second one went 100 times smoother. One thing that I did do was these bolts are 1/2 inch, but I did step it up a little bit bigger to a 5/8. That gives you a little bit of wiggle room in here, especially when you're putting the board. You want it flush against this, and right now, see there's a little bit of a gap. So the fact that I've got 5/8, I can pull this just a little bit more here and push it out if I need to, but it makes for install a lot easier. Now these 4-foot boards are not that difficult at all, but the boards that I bought for here and here, they're both 16 footers that I'm gonna cut down. So 16 foot, having to hit all of those bolt holes exactly, even when you put them down here with these boards and hit them with a hammer, the bolts can still be trying to go through. Maybe the bolt's a little bit going this way, and this one's going a little bit this way, and this one's maybe facing back this way or this way. So to drill straight down in all those holes, the more bolts you have, the harder it's going to get. So just to step up to a 5/16, just a little bit bigger, is going to make install of longer boards a heck of a lot easier. It's the next day. We wrapped up last night running out of caulk. I knew I was going to. I didn't know how much I needed to buy, and I wanted to see how it was going to work. So this morning we already went ahead and got the top plates bolted down on this wall, and I went and got a whole box of caulk. Right now I'm getting ready to install a Tapcon bolt down here in the end, and because we are a little high here, I am going to go ahead and put in 2 to kind of suck this board down. Couple interesting facts here. Number 1, Tapcon, I'm beginning to hate you. I bought a drill bit for the Tapcon, but it came with this end, some sort of triple end with flutes that obviously fit no hammer drill probably in the world. Nothing that anyone would have literally on hand like I've got here for this Milwaukee. So I had to go ahead and cut that tip off just so I could get to a smooth round part, and it works fine now. The drill bit, as I was cutting it, flicked out of my hand when I was using the chop saw, so my finger is absolutely throbbing right now. So I am super annoyed right now. The other thing I want to show you is just how I'm doing this though. Basically, you're just drilling a hole down through. Tapcon wants you to leave about a 1/2 inch below where this bolt is going to go. So there's about that much room in the bottom of the hole. I'm gonna go ahead and hammer that down too and use a washer. So we'll see how well this works out, and I'll show you how I drill this one. I just put a tape line basically on the drill bit itself, so I know exactly where to drill down to, so that way you're not over drilling and you're not under drilling. But let's go ahead and finish this up. And seriously, Tapcon, what are you doing? The other thing I'm super annoyed about, this Milwaukee impact. Most of these sockets have a little hole right there, and on the other side of this Milwaukee adapter there's a spring-loaded ball that basically falls into this hole. I never try and put that ball in that hole, because once that ball goes in that hole, it is impossible to take this thing off. You literally have to get a hammer and chisel to be able to push that ball down, because you cannot pull this socket off of this. I always try and put the socket on a side that does not have the hole, so that way the ball bearing basically can't fall into that hole. Super annoying, dumb idea. Reduce the spring pressure of this ball. Make this easier to come off, because with it in right now, I can't take this off without grabbing 2 more tools. Super annoying. Now I am putting 2 at each end wherever a J-bolt didn't fall onto. Kind of dawned on me after the fact. I went and bought these ones, and they are 4 inches long, which I've always been told whenever you drill something or screw something into another material, you always want to have basically the same distance or close to it. So if you've got a material here that's 1.5 inches, you're going to want to go into 1 inch to 1.5 inches down into the concrete. So I got 4 inches, so as you can see, that's a heck of a lot more than what's probably needed. But it dawned on me that I saw these ones and I was like, yeah, these will be fine, I'll get these. But these are only 3/8 of an inch, while all of the bolts are 1/2 inch. So I was like, ooh, that's probably not going to work. So luckily I bought extra, so we can go ahead and put in 2, and then 2 of these should make up for the weight of a single 1/2 inch J-bolt. And good to know that, if you can see that, Tapcon does say that these are for treated lumber. So the finish on here basically isn't going to deteriorate over time because of the treated lumber. So we're going to go ahead and put 2 more in right here at this seam, because as you can see, there's a bolt and then there's a bolt all the way down there. So we got to get this end a little bit more secure. We'll go ahead and finish that back wall, and then again, the sill plates will be all done for today. Oops, if you notice the difference in sound there, I must have kicked off the hammer setting. That hammer setting makes it a little bit easier when you're drilling through concrete. Got the sill plates all wrapped up, and it actually worked out perfect. On the back wall here, I ended up using the full 16-footer from here over, instead of on the other side. I went from this wall in. So this 16-footer ended right on a bolt, which worked out perfect because there is a bolt obviously right near the wall there, and I only had 2 Tapcons left, so I went ahead and put them right here. So now this plate here, which is roughly about 12 foot long, that's 100% bolted down. And also perfect timing, UPS just showed up and dropped off another 5-gallon bucket of the mastic. So for the rest of the day, I can go ahead and finish up sealing in the rest of the cracks around here that will waterproof this and completely seal this. I'm probably going to use the mastic on here too, since this is above grade and we don't want water getting behind here and kind of leaching down in behind there, which it wouldn't hurt anything, but we've got enough mastic that we can just throw on a bead here and then go around and find any of the above grade cracks, and again go ahead and fill that in with mastic. And then I guess for the rest of the day I'll end up using that 12.5 gallons left over to go ahead and paint this. I'm not going to get a roller or a that spray gun again. There's no need. This above garage right here is small enough that we can just go ahead and roll and paint it on, and then we'll continue that waterproofing all the way up to the sill plate there. So then when we bring our walls down and our OSB sheathing, we can do one more roll of mastic and rub our wall waterproofing from the OSB down to the sill plate, down to the foam, so that way that garage is 100% waterproofed all the way up to the rafters. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap this one up here. Aaron finished all of the mastic and all of the cracks going all the way down. I finished painting that last bit and connecting the sill plate to the wall. As you can see, it is basically 100% impossible now for anything to get in there. It's 100% airtight, it's 100% watertight, and we shouldn't have to worry about anything getting in there. Sorry, GoPro battery died. I know, big surprise, right? Thanks for stopping by. Please like, subscribe, share. If you got any questions, comment below. We'll get back to every question in a timely manner. I like answering all the questions and seeing what you guys have to offer and what you guys want updated on. Get the notification bell on so that way you're up to date on all of the latest videos when they get posted. And we will see you guys next time.